As we watch paint dry waiting for the Fed, this will blow you away. Submitted by Craig Hemke of TFMetals. Another one of Mother Felon's tea and doily parties begins today amidst a haze of economic collapse and negative interest rates. Just last week, Mother held 3 unscheduled meetings with her goons, and she even visited the Brain Trust at the White House. So the question becomes, might Mother have some surprises up her sleeve when the Fed lines are released tomorrow? I mean, for crying in a bucket, at some point there has to be some sort of mainstream acknowledgement of just how lousy things are, right? Seriously, how can this stuff be continually downplayed and overlooked? How many goons and shills can CNBC or CNBS and BBG roll onto their airwaves to disingenuously assure everyone that Q2 will surely see a rebound? The economic disaster du jour comes to us this morning listed as durable goods for the month of March. But check this, even the Zero Hedge headline fails to tell the entire story. Zero Hedge states, core durable goods tumble for 14th month, longest non-recessionary stretch in 60 years. Well, why would that be? How could we have this current non-recessionary stretch? Remember, the traditional measure of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. Well, back in the day, say over the first 55 years or so, you could actually put some amount of trust in the GDP measurements, but now the GDP numbers are all double and even triply seasonally adjusted to make them look better. That's how you get the longest non-recessionary stretch in 60 years. You never get data that shows a recession because you keep fudging and inflating the data. See how that works? Keep in mind that most first guesstimates of Q1 GDP will be released on Thursday at 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Recall the most recent Atlanta Fed GDP now is just plus 0.3% even with the double adjustments. Adding to this ongoing disaster, Mother convenes another tea and doily party today. No one is expecting much, and the odds of a rate hike are essentially zero. However, Leisman will still breathlessly analyze each Fed line word for word when they are announced, and who knows what slight punctuation changes might wiggle the algos, but I do want you to know, or I do want you to at least ponder the possibility of some sort of surprise. Keep in mind that old Mother held those 3 previously unscheduled meetings with her goons last week. Additionally, last Monday she rushed off to the White House to meet Woody and Plugs. Now, of course, we've had no freaking idea what all of this might have been about, this being, as you know, the most transparent administration in history. But what if these meetings were about a pending reversal of course? Maybe instead of 2 more rate hikes in 2016, Mother was informing the Buffoon brothers of her plans to ease rates and restart QE if necessary. What if this is alluded to in the Fed lines tomorrow? I don't know, I'm just saying. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, I saw the press release that Mother had already stitched this little doily earlier today. She really has a gift. Given that today is option expiration for the May silver contract, it should continue to come as no surprise that silver is pinned near $17. Given that small sweet spot for expiry is right near there too. I still haven't made any moves, no options or minor buybacks, but that's about to change. Having a decent cash balance in an option account is not something that an addicted gambler can handle, and I definitely want to get back into a few deals before the Fed lines tomorrow. For those playing along at home, I'll be sure to let you know what I decide. In the meantime, be sure to note that as of today, the moving averages in silver are all bullishly crossed, and this configuration is as bullish as it gets for these particular technical inputs. Does this mean that silver can no longer be rated and smashed lower? Fuck no. However, does it mean that the HFTs should now be dip buyers rather than rally sellers for the first time since 2012? And here's a shocker. After reaching a low of 1232 and a high of 1246, gold is currently at 1243. What's so shocking about that? If you didn't know, then you clearly haven't been spending enough time in TURDville over the past week. On the bright side, total OI for gold fell another 6,000 contracts yesterday back to 495,436. This means we've now shed over 16,000 contracts from last Thursday's massive cap and raid, and gives us a little wiggle room should the specs come charging back in late tomorrow and Thursday. But this will blow you away. In silver, where the May contract is going off the board on Thursday and open interest should be falling, total open interest surged again yesterday by another 4,250 contracts. This brings the total COMEX silver open interest to a new all-time record high of 206,037, a level which is simply incredible. Again, doing the math, 206,037 times 5,000 ounce contract is 1,030,185,000 ounces of paper silver on the COMEX. Please allow me to remind you that the entire planet will produce only 880 million ounces of silver this year. So the criminal and evil COMEX banks now have written derivative contracts for 117% of total mine supply. And is this legal? And this process discovers a free and fair price? Okie dokie, then. As I go to close, I see that Zero Heads has just posted summaries of 3 more terrible economic data points from this morning. Let's see. Services PMI suggests '08 GDP start, Q2 job creation slows. Richmond Fed plunges most August after March WTF spike. And consumer confidence stagnant. In QE3 wage growth hopes fade. Perhaps we should embed Leisman directly into that Fed meeting room. He might even be inspired to learn how they sew. With the yarns that will be spun at 2 p.m. tomorrow, that skill might come in awful handy. Take care. Keep stacking.